What's up, Knicks fans? Welcome to another edition of Knicks Latest. We actually have some news today, nothing speculative, things that actually happened within the Knicks community, so we're going to get into that. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I love getting your opinions, so drop a comment in the comment section below. I do take your comments. I do use them as content, so ask a question, maybe comment about something that I said that you agree with or disagree with, or maybe something that is said in the comment section. We're trying to build a community here of Knicks fans looking forward to the most anticipated New York Knicks season in the past 25 years since the Ewing era. This is the first time that we can confidently say the Knicks should go to the NBA Finals and could possibly win the NBA Finals. So it's going to be a fantastic season for Knicks fans. We are in the golden age of New York Knicks basketball. Let's get right into it, though. News came out that Ben Simmons basically rejected the New York Knicks. Now, there were two different reports, one saying that he was offered a minimum deal, one saying that he wasn't offered. It doesn't matter, though, because at the end of the day, he doesn't want to come, right? Like, if you like a girl and whether or not you ask her out and she says no, or you don't even get to the point where you ask her out and she still doesn't want to go out with you, it doesn't matter. You're not going to go out with her. And that's the main point here, right? Ben Simmons is not going to be on the New York Knicks. He does not have interest in the New York Knicks, but the Knicks had interest in him, which surprises me, honestly. I don't get the fit. I'm not a fan of the fit. So right now, personally, I'm kind of happy that this didn't go through. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you kind of disappointed the Knicks are not going to get Ben Simmons? I'm not disappointed. I didn't think Ben Simmons fit in the first place. I don't. Especially when you have someone like Josh Hart. This is what I've been saying on this channel. You have someone like Josh Hart who defenses are going to sag off of. You're going to have to find a way to stagger minutes between Ben Simmons and Josh Hart. And I understand the argument of, hey, listen, we don't really have a point guard I'm comfortable with if Jalen Brunson goes down or if Jalen Brunson's resting. I get that. Personally, I'm comfortable with Kolek. I think Tyler's going to be okay. Do I think he's going to be Jalen? Absolutely not. Do I think you're going to get the level of production from a Tyler Kolek that you get from Jalen Brunson? No, that would be psychotic. I should not have a microphone if I thought that. But I do trust Tyler Kolek to be a backup point guard, to be a serviceable NBA player. And having Ben Simmons, someone, again, who defense searchers are not just going to respect. They're not going to respect him, right? They're going to lag in the paint. And if you have Josh Hart there at the same time, it's going to be the same thing. If you're playing with Mitchell Robinson, you're going to have two people who can't shoot. It just causes too many matchup problems for Mike Brown to work with. There's too much staggering. There's too many different lineups you got to get creative with. And I'm not saying he can't be a positive in some aspects. He's a good defender. He's tall. He's long. He's a fantastic passer, but I just don't think it's a good fit for this roster. The last thing this roster needs, in my opinion, is another player who can't shoot the basketball. And that's exactly what you're getting from Ben Simmons. If there's one person in the world that the NBA doesn't respect their shot from the guard position, it's Ben Simmons. And everybody knows that. So, kind of surprised that Leon Rose Company wanted him on the team. I wonder how much of that was Mike Brown asking them to go get him, and his influence. Maybe he had some plans for Ben Simmons playing faster. Maybe we could have used him on the fast break, putting the ball in his hands and having him create. Who knows? But he's nowhere near the all-star that he used to be in Philadelphia. And we have reported on this channel from time to time, reading the Sports Illustrated and Bleacher Report and other New York Knicks reporters, that, hey, listen, like, Ben Simmons to New York may not be the best fit. It's coming out that he doesn't even know if he wants to play in New York with the media, with the atmosphere of Knicks fans and MSG and the pressure and all that. I just don't think it would have been a good fit. I'm honestly surprised the Knicks offered him the sheet. I am. I don't think he would have been a good fit here in New York. So part of me is happy that he's not going to be a Knick. Obviously, on a personal level, you feel for the guy, but it was his decision. And it's looking right now like he might retire. Him and his agent parted ways. I think his agent was frustrated with him because he didn't want to sign with the Knicks. And it's like, all right, what am I doing here? If you're not going to play NBA basketball, then there's no point of having me as your client, having you as my client. So we'll see what happens with Ben Simmons, but it's not going to be with the New York Knicks. They're going to have to move on, and to me, that's a blessing in disguise, personally. Now, according to Ian Begley, there were two people who he mentioned in his tweet about who the Knicks are looking forward to now. The first one being Landry Shamet. This is the person who I've been banging the table on for the past month or so. It just makes the most sense. When you look at this Knicks roster, they're missing kind of a 3-and-D guy, somebody who can guard the perimeter, and someone who can just shoot the three, someone who doesn't need the ball, someone who can stick in the corner, and if you pass him the ball, he can hit the three. Someone who, if you put him in the game, you're not going to panic about him playing defense. And Landry's that guy. He's not going to get in the way of Deuce. He's not going to get in the way of Jordan Clarkson. He's not going to get in the way of Yabusele. He can work with Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart. Like, he is the piece, in my opinion. When you design somebody who needs to fit this Knicks roster right now, it's going to be him, off the bench, especially with the minimum deal. So he makes the most sense to me. played really well with the against the Indiana Pacers in the playoffs last year. I know he was up and down during the season, but Tibbs did have an affinity for him. He did play him. I didn't know he was going to get as many minutes as he did during regular season. He played some good minutes. I know he had a little bit of a rough stretch, but he came back in the playoffs, and he was solid. And to me, that's more important than anything. If you can play in Madison Square Garden under the lights and play well in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference Finals, you're a Knick. I'm comfortable with you. I am comfortable with Landry Shamet going forward. I'm not saying I want to see him every game for like 20, 25 minutes, but yeah, 10, 15 minutes a game. Sometimes he hits a DNP depending on the matchup. Who knows? If you got to throw him in there, I'm not panicking. I think this is the perfect signing right now. They're familiar. He was with the team last year, same team, camaraderie, good locker room guy. It just makes all the sense in the world why you would do that. Him or DeLon Wright, but to me, Landry's skill set fits what the Knicks need right now a little more than DeLon Wright, so that's why I haven't really been pounding the table on DeLon Wright. But this makes the most sense to me, and I would be shocked if the Knicks go away from this. The other name mentioned was Malcolm Brogdon. Now, this is one that I saw a lot in the YouTube comments. This is one that I haven't thought of myself. I did read some articles about maybe getting Malcolm Brogdon. I wouldn't say that I'm shocked about this because Malcolm, when he's healthy, has been more than serviceable. He's been a very good point guard in this league. He's a former Sixth Man of the Year, former Rookie of the Year. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy, and I think that's a big reason why teams have stayed away from him, right? Like, if he was healthy and if he was what everybody still thought he was, he would have been snatched up by now. So for me, it's kind of a red flag that he's still out in the market. It's like, all right, well, what are other teams seeing that we're not seeing? Is it something on, with his physicals? Is it something with the fact that he's getting older now and no one just kind of trusts him? But at a minimum deal, for him to be, 10th, 11th man off the bench, somebody who now if Brunson goes down, yeah, I'm comfortable with Malcolm Brogdon running the show. I'm comfortable putting the ball in his hands. And I think a lot of NBA fans would be as well, right? Now, not expecting Jalen Brunson level production, but the comfortability, right? Like, we have an adult running the show. Like, an adult's in the room. We're fine. We're going to be okay. Brunson has to miss time if he has to rest a couple games. Like, we're going to be fine. There's no need to panic. It's not going to be a fire in the building and everyone's running panicking like the scene in The Office. We're going to be okay. So I like the Malcolm Brogdon idea. I think it could work. Obviously, I don't know if he gets time in front of Deuce or Jordan Clarkson. I suspect he wouldn't, so I don't think he would get playing time. I think he'd be a DNP on most nights. I don't think he'd be off the bench. I think, if Deuce has to rest or he's hurt, or if Clarkson has to rest or he's hurt, you might see him in front of Kolek. Who knows? Because that could be something now. If you bring in Brogdon, what happens with Kolek? Are we looking to trade Kolek? Who knows? I don't know what that sets up, and I don't know what narratives that starts to create, especially when, for the first time, Mike Brown has to go to the bench, and does he choose Kolek or does he choose Brogdon? Then all of a sudden, it's like, all right, well, now, what are we doing here? So I think that can create that, but I wouldn't mind that. I mean, at the end of the day, Tyler Kolek is a second-year player. He's like the 10th, 11th man off the bench. It's not like we're creating a riff, with our starting lineup or anything like that. So I would welcome Brogdon. If it were to happen today, I'd be happy. I'd say, let's go for it. Let's get the season started. But for me, Landry Shamet is the guy I think the Knicks should be going for. Let me know in the comments who you think the Knicks should be going for. I've seen some Thomas Bryants out there. There's Russell Westbrook fans who I got into a fight with on Twitter yesterday. It was funny, not a big deal. Some people still think we should sign Russell Westbrook. I think we should not, for the same reasons why I said Ben Simmons. Teams are going to sag off of him, and Russell Westbrook just does not have the self-awareness I think you need to play a bench position right now. I think he needs to go to a team like Sacramento where his usage rate can be high, and he can thrive and be the Russ that he wants to be, which I still think he can be at times. I just don't think he can do that in New York. So that's why Russ doesn't make sense to me. But let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know who you want to be that vet minimum. Let me know how tired of this you are, because I'm tired of this, right? Like, we've been talking about Ben Simmons for a month, and then it comes out he didn't even want to be with the Knicks in the first place. So we've been talking about this for a month, just wasting our time, putting him on the thumbnail, getting y'all all hyped up, and nothing. And that's the NBA offseason. It's September 9th. We're a month and a half away. I just cannot wait for real basketball, even preseason basketball, something for us to talk about so we can stop speculating, so we can stop creating rumors. This is not a channel where I'm going to create stuff out of thin air. I'm going to read something on Sports Illustrated, Bleacher Report, New York Post, New York Times, whatever, and report it to you, and we'll talk about it. But if you have a trade idea, leave it below. Definitely use your comments, like I said before. If you're a new watcher to this channel, you will see that I eventually that I do use your comments. So make sure you comment below. Make sure you like the video. I'll see you tomorrow for an episode of Knicks Latest. Peace.